So I got this Yamaha system in for service. This one's got a few different faults. It's got a problem with the CD player not opening and closing. That's going to be a belt, but the complaint also has a problem with the display. So let's see what's going on with this one. Got a Yamaha system in. This is a RX-S70 receiver with a KXW-S70 cassette deck and a CDC S90 CD changer. Client says that it doesn't open. He suspects the belt is bad. I already got it to open, but it doesn't have much in the way of torque. So it does likely need a new belt. But he also said the display had a problem, and looking at the display, well, it does. Looks like every single segment, or most of them, are lighting up. I don't know whether we're going to be able to do anything on this LCD screen or not. It's likely the controller is bad. The controller chip is bad, more than likely, because it doesn't change. When you change inputs, nothing changes. Whether the unit actually changes inputs or not, I guess we'll find that out pretty quick here. Let's try tuner. Will it play anything? Maybe more than just a display problem. If you look at the display, it's just flashing random stuff. Now it's out completely. Turn it on. Now it's out. Okay. Oh, now it says no disc. Maybe we have a connection problem on here, because that had random garbage on that display a minute ago. Like this was just displaying random gibberish. Now it shows no disc. We can't change inputs. Oh, there we go. You see? It's just showing random garbage. Well, I guess first things first, we'll pull this amplifier apart and see if we can get to the bottom of this display just flashing random numbers out. On camera, it looks like it's displaying something now, but it's now completely out. To turn it on, nothing on the display. Give it a tap. See, now it's not displaying anything again. It's got to be a connection somewhere in here. I don't hear any sound. I've got speakers hooked up and I don't hear any sound either. On any input. Yeah, it's a weird one. So here's the unit apart. Remember, you just pull the pin out of it and then the rest of it will pop out like that. Okay. Now I should be able to remove the display. I think that's this screw over here holds it in too. The display now pulls out just like that. It's one piece. And these ones here are backlit with just a conventional incandescent bulb. As you can see, the fact that the display is displaying oddball characters, it could be the IC that's bad. You can check this. Either that or something on the main board that's giving it the wrong information. Because the main microprocessor on this unit will then communicate with the LCD display chip, and then it will display characters. But as you can see, what is being displayed makes no sense at all. And when I turn it on and off, it even does weirder things. Of course, now it's not going to do it. It just dims the bulb down. Tape, tuner, CD, phono. So at least we know the amplifier is working. I'm going to just take a close look at this IC and see if there's any connections on it that appear to be bad. Looks like the light bulb was changed on this at one point. The wires are taped up. Just unplug that, stick that aside for a minute, and we'll look at the display itself. I'm going to try on this display board is I'm going to throw some flux on here, and we'll just redo the connections on here just in case it's getting a garbled signal. I mean, it's going to be one of two things. If it's not a bad connection, it's going to be either the display chip has failed or the main controller is not sending it the right data. I don't have a data analyzer, so I don't know what format it's sending. But it's going to be serial data that gets sent in to the chip to tell it what to display, and then the display decoder chip drives each segment separately. As you can see, each segment has a physical connection back to the chip because it's a liquid crystal display. So it's either going to be a failure of this chip, more than likely, or something on the main board. Now, the fact that it does change inputs and it does appear to work, it's going to be probably this display chip, which good luck finding one now. But I'm going to try going over this one first with my soldering iron in case there is a connection that's bad, and that way we should be able to reflow the chip. And it's more than likely would be on one of these inputs here. It's not going to be on an output. We'll plug the display in again and see whether I've made any difference to the operation. So the power cord's unplugged. Okay, I'm getting exactly the same as I was getting before. A display that basically means nothing. All the segments are, not all of them, but a lot of the segments are all lit up at the same time. So there's got to be, this display IC is probably cooked. If I scope the data line, which is this one here, I see data going to the display. I'll show you guys the display. And so we're seeing data go between the main board and this display board. I'm using my digital scope on this, but I'm not analyzing it or anything. I'm just looking for data. Alright, let's look at the data change here. See? The data is changing when I change modes. That's sending a signal telling the display to change. And the display is not changing. So but we got a problem with this display chip. I believe when this unit is off, it's supposed to display the time. Therefore, if I turn it off, we should see constant data. And we do. Oscillator, clock, and data. And yet this is not displaying anything. So yeah, the display chip is bad. That's the problem with the display on this. Now whether the guy's going to want to fix it or not, or whether he's just going to live with it like it is, I guess I'll have to ask. The CD player has a slipping belt, as you can hear. The belt is really easy to change on this. It's right here. Just lift the belt off and find a new one. That should stop it from slipping. Here's a new belt. We'll coax the belt in around the gears. Like that. I use my dental pick to maneuver the belt into place. Here's a thin piece of tape to tape the belt around the bottom of the pulley and to the top, so I can turn the gear and turn the pulley and have it pull the belt around. Stick it to the bottom side of the pulley, put the belt into the groove, and then tape it on and give it a bit of a turn. Now as I turn it, I should be able to turn the belt around and at the same time have it stay on the groove of the pulley, so I can pull it up on the other side. Just like that. Now we'll see if it'll open and close properly. Should. It's a little tighter belt this time. There we go. Now the discs will be locked in place. And there, the CD player is working. So, CD player is working. The display still not. Oh, what the heck? I'm not going to believe this. The display started working. Check this out. What the heck? I put it back together, and the display is working. What gives? At least it's working for the CD player. Okay. So maybe it's not the display IC, maybe it's something on the main control IC that's at fault. Because when I select phono input, it doesn't. It still shows the CD. It's likely the memory chip. When it's in CD, it's passing information from the CD player to the display, but when it's in other modes, the memory chip sends data to the display to display phono, auxiliary, tuner, etc. Tuner? It's not showing me the frequency. It's showing me the display from the CD. Isn't that odd? When I turn it off, it should display the time of day. Okay, well maybe it's not the display IC. Maybe the data it's getting from the main microprocessor is garbage, because obviously when I put the CD on, the fact that it displays the correct data on the CD is indicating that the display is working. It's something else. Regardless, I don't think he's going to want to spend that kind of money on this unit. I mean, this is working for the display here, but when I put it on radio, it's not. I don't have an antenna connected to it, but when I push the display button, nothing happens. That is just bizarre. I try. Oh, it's doing something weird again. For the tape decks now. Uh-oh. Looks like the tape decks have a problem too. I'm going to leave this as it sits because the guy that brought it to me, he was under the understanding it just needed a belt for the CD player. He didn't say anything about the cassette deck having a problem. I don't even know whether he uses the cassette deck. I doubt very much whether he uses cassettes. Doesn't look like it's even ever had much hours on it. It looks like it's brand new. Oh, this one, the head is stuck. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these things are spotless inside. I bet he's never even used a cassette deck on this. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at this point. I got to talk to him. That display certainly is weird. How it works for the CD, but it doesn't work for anything else. So that's going to be a problem somewhere in the amplifier here, somewhere in the data communications between the main controller or between its memory and the controller. We know that the display works because it displays the right characters when the CD is playing. So the display controller is correct. It is receiving correct data when it's on the CD, but when it's on anything else, it's not. So that's going to be a problem in the main controller on this. And I don't know that he wants to spend any money. So I got to talk to the guy. So anyway, if you want to change a belt on one of these Yamahas, that's how to do it. As I suspected, I called the guy that owns it, told him the cassette deck wasn't working. He wasn't even aware of that because he doesn't use cassettes. First words out of his mouth was, will it work as a 2-stack instead of a 3? In other words, can I run it without the cassette deck connected? I said, absolutely. So he says, great, I'm going to run it as a 2-stack. The only thing I care about is that the CD player works and the auxiliary input works, which we already know that does work. So he's going to live with it, with the display not showing the frequency when it's on the radio, but at least it shows the time and the CD and the track, which is probably the most important thing anyway, because if you're playing a CD, that's what you want to know. Radio-wise, you can still tune it in manually, you just won't know what station you're on. But other than that, he's happy with it as it is. He doesn't want to spend a lot of money on it. He just wanted the CD player belt replaced. So that's what we've done. But if you got one of these units that the display is doing oddball things like this one is, it's gonna be something on here. Some communication between either the memory and the main controller or something. Something is buggered up, and it's affecting it. One thing I haven't tried on this, but I think I probably will, is I'm going to look up and see how to do a factory reset, because maybe a factory reset will fix that corrupted display. I'm just thinking about that. Well, I did a quick search. I couldn't find any info for as far as factory resetting one of these units, so I'm going to leave it at that, because again, I don't have time to start looking for, chasing after elusive answers. The owner's manual says unplug it for 1 minute if things don't appear to be operating correctly. Well, that was done when it was brought over. It was unplugged for hours. So unplugging it for a minute isn't going to do anything. But the fact remains, the display works on CD. It doesn't work on anything else. So something is buggered up inside the receiver unit itself. And the guy that owns it doesn't want to spend any money on it other than to change the belt. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.